welcome back to the Marvel Movie Minute, a daily podcast which we smash apart the films of the Marvel Cinematic Universe into one-minute chunks so we can analyze them in scrupulous detail. I'm Kyle Olson from the Road to Infinity podcast.
And I'm Rob Cabasco. And Kyle.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever pondered the world of Renaissance art?
Ooh, I have not spent a lot of time thinking about Renaissance art, but
you appreciate the art, the artists, and everything else.
Sure.
So, Renaissance, what are we talking about? This is the period of European history between the 15th and 16th centuries.
Is this where the Ninja Turtles get their names?
Oh yes. Well, yes, actually.
Okay.
This is correct.
All right, good. I'm with it. I'm back in.
So
I was checked out, but now I'm back in.
You know some of these great artists, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo. I mean, this period.
He's a
of time.
party dude.
Yes, pizza, all this great stuff, right? That comes out of this because the world's coming out of the Middle Ages. This is the big thing.
Welcome to the Renaissance. Yeah, for those Something Rotten fans out there.
Nice. We've got this moment that kind of connects the Middle Ages, which some real dark stuff happens, with the future, the modern times, right? Like our modern understanding of everything. So through this period, there is this particular artistic composition. It's called Vesperbild. It's German. I'm not saying that great.
Vesperbild.
Will you try that again?
Vesperbild.
Oh.
You say the D's as T's.
Oh my God.
Well, 4 years of German. I need to use it for something.
I always know that Germans sound angry. That's all I really
exactly.
So what you just said, right? That develops in Germany around 1300. And it reaches Italy across about 100 years. So about 1400, it goes to Italy. That word you just said,
Vesperbild.
You may know it, many of you listening will know it more by the Italian, which is the Pieta.
Pieta.
Right. Oh, you're so good.
I know, right?
So, what is the Pieta?
Hey, it's the Pieta.
So it's artistically, for most people know, it's one of the many representations of the figures of Mary and Jesus from Christian theology. So you normally will see that all throughout this period. The most famous one you know of is Michelangelo's. He's
a radical dude.
Yes. He's in the Vatican. You have this image of this. But the Pieta, which for Italian means pity, compassion, that's kind of where it translates. It goes from the German to this to that. It's become, and it's been for hundreds of years, that is an artistic, when an artist likes to represent a sorrowful moment between usually two characters, and they place them in that moment where the one is holding the other in this very dramatic, very pensive, sorrowful moment. So you could understand that, obviously, in the artists that, like Michelangelo has done that. People have used it many times in other things. I know on the campus of Arizona State University, there is a Southwest Pieta. It's an art installation that was installed, I want to say 30 years ago, and it's two characters from Southwestern lore that it's a male figure holding a female figure in the same pose. It's a classic posing that appears frequently in the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Oh, interesting.
I think this minute is maybe the first real representation of it.
If it wasn't an Iron Man, then it would be.
I don't believe it's an Iron Man.
Okay.
Not in its full moment that we will see it in this minute.
Yeah.
So look at this. Renaissance.
Look at that.
We went to a Renaissance art moment.
We're getting educated here in the back.
What is going on?
Of The Incredible Hulk from 2008, directed by Louis Leterrier. We're talking about minute 58. And we'll get into exactly what shot Rob was alluding to as we move on to, because it's not the first shot. We actually we ended the minute with Betty about to say something. Her mouth was even pursed in like she's about to say the word, and then the minute cut off. But now we learned that the word was Bruce. Oh. Yeah, and interestingly, later on in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Hulk does not respond well to being called that name.
Oh, that's true.
But here, Seaton does not have a problem with it. Maybe it's just because she's talking to me. Betty's talking to me.
Well, and amazing moment. The CGI animators do a phenomenal job.
There's some great acting on Hulk's face.
This is the most docile expression you see in this character's face.
Yeah, this is pretty much the only time you see him kind of at peace. Yes. And it looks like he's about to say something. Like she said it, and he looks at her like this serious, like heartfelt look, and it's almost like, and then over his shoulder you see the gunship.
Oh,
We've been waiting
no.
for the gun for the last 2 minutes.
yes.
And for the audience, for multiple episodes. They're like, when's the gunship going to get here?
We forgot about that? No,
we haven't forgot about the gunship. And the gunship finally shows up. And what is it? It is a Boeing AH-64A Apache. The Boeing 64A Apache is an American-built twin-turboshaft attack helicopter with a tailwheel-style landing gear arrangement and a tandem cockpit for a crew of 2. Would you like me to go on? Because I have the full
Please,
Wikipedia
I'm
listing.
very interested.
Okay, it features a nose-mounted sensor suite for target acquisition and night vision systems. It is armed with a 30mm M230 chain gun carried between the main landing gear under the aircraft's forward fuselage. And, get this, 4 hardpoints mounted on stub wing pylons for carrying armaments and stores. Typically, a mixture of AGM-114 Hellfire missiles and Hydra 70 rocket pods, as we all know. But the AH-64 has a significant systems redundancy to improve combat survivability.
Let me try.
Sure.
Boom, boom from above.
For the rest of us who don't get off on Wikipedia entries, these have shown up in Firebirds, the movie, which was an interesting thing, and G.I. Joe: The Rise of Cobra.
Oh. Outstanding.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad move.
No, it's not.
Anyway,
It's got its own thing.
It's got its
going
own
on.
thing.
But so then we see that finally it shows up, and interesting the way it's coming in, the angle it's coming in. It sees the Hulk, and we cut to like a sort of a nose cam view of it. It can't see Betty, so
right.
It only sees the Hulk, and it's going by Ross's last order, which is
Exactly.
like that. So now it's like, oh, okay, well, we're here, so we might as well just start shooting them. Is Operation More Bullets still in effect? Because let's send some bullets at
Now,
them.
these are bigger bullets.
These are bigger bullets.
Now,
These are
in
much
the
bigger
shot,
bullets.
okay, now when it cuts from the aiming device, the targeting system, it cuts to a really nice shot of the helicopter, which I'm assuming, okay, this is all CG.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, this
The
is not a real
helicopter
helicopter.
was
However,
never really there.
In that shot, we also get a view of the other character from this moment that we forgot about for the last few minutes. And that's the storm clouds.
That's right. The storm clouds are making their big appearance in this thing. You forgot about them. They were like in minute 52
before he turned. Remember,
Yeah.
before he turned, the storm clouds were
Yeah,
coming
exactly.
in.
When they were first walking up to the university, back when all that we were worried about was should he wear the ball cap or not?
Exactly.
But now look how far we've come.
So the storm came in, then everything went super bright during the battle, and now we know the storm's afoot. It's coming.
It's almost
back.
like it takes place in Arizona.
That is
Wait 5 minutes. The only state I've ever been in where I've been in bright sunlight so much I had to wear glasses on, and in a full downpour.
And then
Arizona. I'm
And
sure
then-
everybody around the state is like, yeah, it happens in Indiana. It happens in Ohio. But
no, not like this.
not like this.
Not like this.
So we get to see the chain gun in full effect as it races down, and this looks practical.
Yeah.
I saw. We'll talk a little bit about the crash because they did that practically. But like it looks like they really planted micro explosives all along the grass and detonated them all there. So it looks like this race of bullets is going on there. So this is interesting because the Hulk looks over, sees what's coming. Betty then looks around him and also sees what's coming, and then he goes and covers her right there as the bullet thing raced by. So I want to talk a little bit about instincts here because we're going to see some interesting stuff here happen. Because the Hulk, the personification of destruction and violence and anger, his first instinct, and this happens fast, is cover Betty and protect her. And Ross, not there at all. He's starts screaming out, "Do not fire!" But he's not screaming into the walkie. He's just screaming into the air. Right. He's not guys, they're under your command. He goes running at them, going, "Do not fire!" But they can't hear you, dude. They're in a helicopter.
Right.
You have to actually talk into the little squawky box in your hand. But
it's just instinct, right?
Right, instinct. So the instinct. So he doesn't like Hulk has the instinct and he has the instinct, and they're both completely different in what they're going for. But yeah, so it races by. Shooting there, and then the Hulk. This is what's interesting. If you think of Hulk, we usually think of him as Hulk smash, destroy. But he's actually like a world-class athlete because I don't think anything he does is by accident. All these things we've seen in this action sequence over these last 5 minutes or so have been very calculated.
Yes.
Like he threw that shield and to shear those thing that Humvee in half. And this thing too. I don't think this was an accident. I think he meant to cut that rotor off.
Oh yeah.
Like he was like looked at calculated the angle and stuff. Like all for him, it's all instinct. But like I'm gonna throw this thing and chop that thing off of that thing. And because he severs the blades from the Apache.
I was just going to say, so what happens here is we cut really quick cuts between him, Betty under the
he
Hulk's
still has
protection.
his shield, like one of his two.
You got Ross running. The Hulk basically kicks back, kind of the pitcher's throw of all pitcher's throws. Throws out the one piece,
almost Frisbee-esque,
like a discus way,
or
something
like
that.
Xenon or Chakram.
Exactly. And then we go to this great point of view of the helicopter piece of metal. Like I mean, it's actually really well laid out, nicely composed.
You still can't see Betty.
Right, you still can't see Betty, but you still see the puffs of smoke from the shots of the bullets hitting the ground. You see the piece of metal coming at it, and the metal, perfect accuracy.
Yeah.
Just shears off the rotor from the helicopter.
And I think that was his thing too. Like that's what I'm saying about him as the perfect athlete. Like as he sees, like from this one angle, he does the mental calculations. So he stands there and he sees what he did, and then he's like, "Oh, the blade's coming at me," but then he calculates like, "Oh, it's going to pass me by." So he doesn't even react to it. Like as he's standing there, the blade of the helicopter scissors through the air and cuts in the ground and goes right next to him, but he could see that it wasn't going to affect him at all, so he doesn't even react to it as it whizzes right by him. When this thing would have like cut anybody else in half. But then looks down, sees Betty's there. He's like, "Oh, that's probably gonna explode. All right, I need to cover her again." Like you can see the calculations in his head of what he's going to do, and then he completely envelops her. Last time he sort of like blocked. But this time he like completely covers her like a shell,
right?
As the Apache hits the ground and explodes, and then just erase fire. Okay, so the fire you see is practical. Like they set this whole thing up. There was no people there, so like no Liv Tyler, no Edward Norton, no Terry Notary. Like there was nobody in that space. But they set up all the wreckage along the way, and then they set up like fire poles essentially, like these little arcs that would shoot fire. And so then they went and they like basically launched the fire from one end to the other, and they just like on a outside but like on a soundstage kind of thing, like they built up a thing. And so actually even to see it in real life is really impressive. Like the CG guys that added in all the wreckage flying by, but all the fire you see was actually done on set.
And adding them in too, because you can actually see.
Like I said, there wasn't anything there. Like they didn't have like a person or anything there. So like that wasn't anything. But so there was actually like they were aimed at that thing, and then they just sent the fire sort of down from one side to the other. It was really impressive.
So they're fully engulfed as this whole. And again, this is like 3 seconds.
Yeah.
It hits again. We go to this far shot. You can see the wreckage. He protects her. The Apache impacts. Big explosion. Yep. Everything is rolling towards them. There's a very close-up shot of Liv Tyler.
I'm so glad you pulled that shot, because like I kept freeze framing it and I kept missing it too, because I couldn't figure out what it was, because in the midst of all this stuff there's this one shot of a face and I couldn't figure out what it was.
Oh shit.
And so then you see it's her, like like you can see a little bit of the Hulk's arm sort of over her, but then covered by all of the dirt and just before the fire hits them.
So it's wonderfully done.
It's probably like a tenth of a second.
Yes.
I mean, like that's probably like 3 frames or something.
Right.
Yeah, it's fast.
And again, that implying of, in this case, not just horror, but just like fear, like trauma, like this is going to happen. Flame engulfs them. We go to Ross. Ross's
the biggest reaction like that we've seen from him too is just this scream out. No, it's very Darth Vader at the end of episode 3-esque. No.
Yes, it is.
But I mean, like full on, just no.
And then we cut to Leonard.
Yeah, Leonard's knocked to the ground, and you know what? A hard rain is going to fall.
So Leonard's down on the ground,
surrounded by flaming wreckage.
Right,
he's fine. He's okay. But then that's when click, water comes on, and like
it doesn't just it becomes immediately 1:00 in the morning.
Yes,
it's dark.
I know they cut back to Ross and the soldiers, and like, okay, it was clearly night, because you can tell the Klieg lights were just off to the right, because everyone on the ground, their shadows are huge. Like they're all facing the different way. Yeah,
it seems totally
this is just like the shot we had of Edward Norton running out from the thing, clearly shot at night for day. Same thing here. I also like in this, there is magic movie rain. So not only is it fast, but also all the soldiers are getting rained on, and Ross is dry as a bone.
He's in the front of the rain.
This scene.
He's in the front of the rain.
He's in front of the rain. Like, and this is outside at the quote unquote university. It's actually a park, but not a single drop is touching him. It's like, all right, that's star power, baby.
You're right? No, I'm not getting wet.
I'm not getting wet.
No,
Yeah.
no.
You can have your rain, right, for your atmosphere and stuff too, but like William Hurt's staying dry.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because it's very obvious.
It's very obvious, and because they cut to it multiple times, and every time the rain is right behind him. But then, as we see, as they're all looking at this huge fireball, then the rain comes down. Of course, then makes some of the fire go down. The fire drops, and we see the Hulk stand up, and he's holding Betty's body, and that's where we get to your Renaissance homage.
Yes,
it's like him cradling her body and looking down. Now, what it made me think of was the cover of Crisis on Infinite Earths. George Perez having Superman holding Supergirl's body, but I'm sure he was probably inspired by that exact artistic movement.
Absolutely. No, those all go back 500 years. 550 some odd years, right? Now, okay, so this is a wonderfully dramatic moment. I think it's rendered incredibly well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now let's just talk about the physics of fire.
No,
what's the movie you thought of when this happened?
The fire?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe Dragonheart?
Batman Forever.
Oh, Batman Forever.
The opening scene, Val Kilmer's Batman, he goes to save someone.
Yeah.
And remember, he dives into the pit.
Yeah.
He's got the bat cape that comes in and creates this vacuum seal over him.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, that's the minimum you would need to survive this.
Yeah.
The Hulk doesn't have that.
No. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Fire uses oxygen. So, like, even if she, like, wasn't physically damaged by the stuff going on there, like, her lungs would be seared and stuff, too. But I thought of the same thing, too. But all of this happens in the course of 30 seconds.
Yes.
It's whoosh and gone. So, by the backdraft rules, then I think you might be all right, because the rain comes really that much quicker, and it's like the fire passes over them and then continues on. Like it's not like you're trapped in a room with fire, which would be a whole different thing. So for that I was kind of like, in the same world where Hulk can shear a Humvee in half.
No, it's completely forgivable, but
the rain it helps.
So
I think but. When they cut to, like Ross, like, oh, he saved her, and they go back to, and we see a close up of Betty in his arm, there's really no indication that she's alive.
No.
I mean, like, there's not like her like coughing or breathing or even like moving her head around, like even as she's still unconscious. Like, we still don't know if she's alive or dead at this point, but we don't know. But then, like, the Hulk then looks over at Ross like, you did this.
Yeah, you did this.
I mean, like, it is a full on like rage stare. And also, like, you actually can see a wound in his shoulder.
Oh, yeah.
Like a slice, like a piece of shrapnel has come through and cut a piece of. He's not bleeding, but like it is a serious gash.
Right.
But yeah, like he is mad. So what is he going after Ross? Is he going to shift back to Bruce? Is we going to hear the Lonely Man theme again? We don't know, because that's where the minute ends.
Is he going to ask him about his umbrella?
Yeah.
What kind of umbrella do you have?
Yeah, the magic umbrella that it protects you no matter where you go.
Oh my goodness.
It's star power. Exactly. So we'll find out what happens after that in minute 59. So in the meantime, if you're interested in chatting with like-minded Marvel fans over on my Facebook, well, good, because we have the place for that. It is called the Marvel Movie Minute and Next Real Film Podcast Executive Lounge.
Let me try that.
Yeah, try it. Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
If I wanted to improve my Facebook experience, where would I go to talk with like-minded Marvel fans?
You would go to the Marvel Movie Minute and the Next Real Film Podcast Executive Lounge.
Oh, well, you went for the precise pronunciation.
Sometimes you have to do that, because I know we're fast talkers. So
yes, I like to just blur all my things together, because pauses are for losers. Just mash all of them together. People will figure it out.
Our brains are so mushy. Anyway.
Yeah, easy way to find it is go to facebook.com/groups/thenextreel. We're over there talking about all the Marvel movie nonsense that we can talk about. So hope you enjoyed minute 58. We'll be back here for minute 59. Hope you had a smashing good time. Until next time, true believers.
Bye.